The next is a philosophical topic when the machine learning will replace humans. We're going to speak with Alexandra Bursina. Hello, Sasha, the head of the Perspective Technologies Department in Positive Technologies. Piotr Yermakov, Director, ML Brand Director, and in Russian, Machine Learning Brand Director in the company Yandex. Alexey Tyokin, Data Solutions. Alexey, hello.
Привет. И Сергей Колесников, Head of
And Sergey Kolesnikov, Head of Artificial Intelligence
Привет.
in Tinkoff. Hi.
И где-то там должен быть research. Очень надеюсь, там должен быть research.
And there should also be research. Yeah, Head of Artificial Intelligence Research. Beautiful.
Друзья, давайте тогда начнем нашу философскую тему. И для
So let's begin this philosophical topic, and in the beginning we're going to speak about the following. From the one side, machine learning topic is discussed quite a while, time-wise. But on the other side, something happened within the last year, and we would like to understand what did happen. So, Sergey, let's begin with you.
Так, ну что ж,
Beautiful.
давайте начну с чего-нибудь базисного, что, наверное,
Okay, I would like to begin with something basic that each of our speakers knows. Out of recent things that we can notice,
череду событий. Я думаю,
let's look at the recent events. I think everybody remembers development of big models, starting with GBD. Then clip came to us. GBD was generating text and could make them in a short story, and even could write a full article that would go through conference. It would be meaningless, but then afterwards, we have received Dunning clips and other models which could make beautiful pictures.
все уже успели насладиться этим. В этом году, кстати, вот вышел...
Everybody were able to use it, and Stable Diffusion has been produced this year, and you can say that this year it was a really significant breakthrough from the AI point of view, from the light connection, because on a step-by-step basis, it penetrates into all our spheres of activity. Same Photoshop and everything else. But out of the scientific one, being involved in this sphere, I would separate better. DeepMind have produced a beautiful article, Journalist Agent, where they went even further away. If in GPTech we create a lot of text and he generates text in a clip, you put a lot of pictures and text and it generates images following this text. In GAPA, they put everything into everything. So this big neural network was able to continue texts, you could chat, and image captioning was done and make images. I don't know about generation. And what's important, it could play games. In other words, if you've been expecting for a moment when AI will fill everything with itself, this year I would say it did happen. But can we say that AI invents something by itself? Or this is mostly reproduction on the basis of studying well-known algorithms? It's a good question. I would say that starting with AlphaGo, you can start saying that ML or AI, being more specific, can not just invent, but can extrapolate from something it has learned. For example, AlphaGo that I would like to speak about. And let me give you some context. In the year 2016, and it was a long time ago, DeepMind have made the first 10 which could play a game Go. Due to a number of reasons, it's a really complicated game. And if I'm not mistaken, in the year 2016, there was a match between DeepMind and Lee Sedol, the world Go champion from Southern Korea. And during the first or the second match, AlphaGo made a move which was not understandable by any Go expert.
Сообщество Go в этот момент
And the whole global Go community was thinking that DeepMind has failed because it was illogical step from the point of view of the human, from the point of view of human logic on which AlphaGo was learning. It was impossible. It was impossible. But due to certain circumstances, this move closer to the end of the game has led to the winning of the AlphaGo, because this particular chip on the board has separated the board in such a way so that Lisidoli had less than half and AlphaGo has won.
Я понял.
So we can extrapolate. Okay, Alexei, according to your opinion, what revolutionary and new happens right now? New and revolutionary. Well, wherever you look, everybody flies to the space, and everywhere you see the revolution. But if you will look around yourself from different sides, from the point of view of regular amateur, people hear about different applications with diffusion, stable diffusion, and not just that, but what Sergey was telling you about. Also, for a third-party viewer, we could notice a more Copilot production system which completes the code for you. And preceding the question, can algorithm invent something? Well, looking at the current legal unawareness, extrapolating, well, this is an extent, it's like stealing the code or copy-pasting the code and using everything that was downloaded as the data. It's not a question. Machine can do it. For data scientist work, the most noticeable one is some TopPFM, which is out of the area of AutoML. Those people who are involved in automatic machine learning, you could clickbait that they try to automate themselves, they try to take bread from other specialists of machine learning. So they rolled out a very interesting thing which we wanted to do, which is a model that was trained by meta learning. So it has been taught how to teach other models. Teach to be teacher to teaching models. So out of the box, it gives solutions for small spreadsheet data sets. Well, of course, it has a lot of limitations, no more than 1,000 lines, double cells, and only for classification. But this is a wonderful, how can I say, strategic movement. And for the lovers of esoterics, it's done on the base of transformer, and it really works, which is a big achievement. And this is a very big movement from the point of view that previously one had to sit down and tune something and change something. But from this point of view, this is something that works not worse that is being done by regular AutoML, but it's in neural network. Spoiler, spoiler, neural network, but very, it's not strong to the media glory of 98% of other real applications that everybody are involved into. The image, the text, no problem, but something basic, daily activities, you need to use something more down to the ground. So it's not just was done or open sourced, but you can use it. This is something from noticeable. Out of more beautiful applications, diffusion, everybody can see it, Midjourney and all other similar services which can be done by regular. Well, there's a lot of those applications, but however, you can also touch MERVs and those who are involved in the area of special effects and clever video filming. You can make a film and then virtual camera can move around the scene and it's not going to look so awful as it was looking 1 year ago. So in different places, they have different interesting movements and revolutions. Well, I haven't noticed any revolutions. But applied level, speaking about the applied level, how can we apply machine learning, artificial intelligence in Yandex? What do you do?
Доставка еды, вот эти вот роботики, которые... вот,
The food delivery, these little robots.
Как это, сложно говорить за весь Яндекс, но
It's hard to speak for the whole Yandex, but any application, product sorting,
заказов, все это
development, assembly of the orders, this is all done intellectually, route building.
То есть он...
This is all done by machine learning.
и оптимальные цепочки
So they
выдачи
understand what are
товаров,
optimal
которые
links of product deliveries, which reduce. Where is the work of this AI? Well, let's fantasize not about Yandex, but about some retail application. For example, you have a lot of products, and it's going to be very cool if they will
Почему бы
come to you separately by two couriers. But knowing your basket, why don't you put a product on a higher level, which is in the same warehouse? It will satisfy your desire. Maybe you don't care, maybe you will select the first one, but thanks to this, you will get usefulness that you don't have to meet your courier twice, but only one will deliver two products. Less auxiliary expenses for the delivery. That's why machine learning, I would like to say that it's not really complicated. Well, not two hands of the plumber be enough to solve this problem. Well, what about the autopilot? We invite Yandex, but we are not able to invite driverless cars from Yandex in order to see what can be done with it. But nevertheless, how this machine is filled with this artificial intelligence and at which condition this is right now. Well, it's going to be very difficult for me to understand because I don't work with guys from autopilot. But what can I say about that? Well, they work, and I see that colleagues are working on this, and it's moving on. So, as an amateur, I'm looking at this as an amateur from kind of outside. And it seems to me that, yes, they do have machine learning in it, but it is very difficult to use machine learning only by delegating the pilot to machine learning, if looking from the outside. Because, driverless cars guys, they don't work with me, but this is the feeling I get. But everything is ahead of us. It's in the future. Sasha, artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, machine learning, these letters are too far away from each other. What really happens in this area?
На самом деле, кажется, не так далеко, потому что уже сейчас
Well, they're not too far away because even in CTI we have a lot of attacks which can be detected with the help of machine learning. Not only like that, these attacks can be predicted. When the hacker, when a criminal gets inside of the infrastructure and doesn't do any legitimate actions, but leaves certain anomalies or traces behind himself. So we atomize everything that is happening and we can prevent some future activities from his side. Most of the products still require human participation, incident investigation, false positive analysis, errors which are happening anyway. We also need SOC teams, but also we do have a big work from the point of view of automation. SOC analytics are working and their cognitive functions are being transferred to algorithmic functions. Okay, which product is the more machine learning advanced? Do we have products like that? I think that in CM, and we do a lot of behavior analysis, these machines are helping us, and in the future, after a certain period of time, of course, too, which with their core are telling us that we are going to prevent and stop with minimal human invasion. And by the way, at the standoff, we even have a special stand where you can push the buttons and you can look at how our meta product's working. Yes, of course, we understand we have a smart CM, but Tinkoff has smart Oleg. Sergey, can you tell us, please, how this feature, how can you call this function?
Использует машинное обучение.
How it uses machine learning.
На самом деле, во-первых, Олег.
First of all,
Да, это... Но надо понимать, что это не только машина.
Oleg, you should understand that this is not just machine learning. In a sense, that undoubtedly one of the most important parts
Он умел понимать
is
тебя,
the
то
machine
есть,
learning, of course. It should understand
был
you.
свой финансовый ассистент, то есть он
It's
должен
like a
понимать, о чём
voice
ты говоришь,
financial
что ты
assistant.
говоришь.
He should understand what you're speaking about. He will recognize your meaning, your sense, recognize the sense out of.
Что на самом деле происходит через
Then
машинное
we'll
обучение.
search through the database, and everything is happening through the machine learning
После этого он
because it's much simpler. After this analysis, it should
после того, как он понял, ну, попытался
After
понять, о чем мы говорим,
we try to understand what are we speaking about, it will give you certain replies,
пошутить, потому что, ну,
possibly make a joke along the way.
Но анекдоты у вас будет писать?
It will he write anecdotes, jokes. Yeah. AI comes back home from fishing.
как бы пишешь,
Yeah, it's
такое,
like a co-pilot.
кто-то в ухо стучит, что
So you write this code and somebody knocks in your door, and it's going to be a semicolon here.
я не знаю,
Well, same thing
платишь
here.
поправку, а тебе приходит
I don't know.
уведомление, что можно
You
было и
pay for something, but then you have been informed that, well, you could do it cheaper.
если рассматривать вот
Honestly speaking, if you will look at this from this point of view
ну,
of those
окей,
assistants,
нельзя говорить о
Today,
квинтэссенсе, но при желании, если
you cannot you cannot say that this is quintessence, but if you have certain helper,
ну,
especially financial helper,
и
we are a fintech company,
связаны с деньгами, вот то здесь,
and
например,
people who are strongly related with money,
реально,
well, from this point of view, there are limitless possibilities of combination of ML and AI in a sense that
он может
you can talk to it,
опять же, вот
you can recommend something.
эти уже
And
вот можно
Peter was already telling us that
оптимально сформировать свою корзину, но это на самом
you
деле
can optimize your basket,
то есть тебе можно тоже что-то подсказать, что
but this is also some financial environment. You can be advised what should you purchase. Why not?
Умный Олег или Алиса?
Who is smarter, Smart Oleg or Alice?
Я думаю, это два разных
Which of these two
продукта, и,
assistants?
на
I think these are two different products
Но ведь и там используют
aimed
искусственный
at
интеллект.
different, but both of them are using AI.
искусственный интеллект и
Yeah,
с-
let's compare artificial intelligence with stable diffusions, which will also be about totally different things.
Окей,
So that would be incorrect to combine them and compare them. Well, it was my joke.
запомнил.
I understand.
Я запомнил.
I remember your jokes.
Алексей, к тебе вопрос.
Okay, Alexei.
Скажи,
I have a question to you.
Ты думаешь, какой
So,
следующий
what do you think? What's going to be the next step in machine learning? And what's going to be next to be automated? I hear that you are looking at even esoterical words, and you started speaking about esoterics. So, will it be more in the area of optimization, technologization, optimization, or will it be more in philosophical categories? So, what do you see as philosophical part of it?
И прочее.
Well, the word esoterics and other words, you will understand.
Как сказать, образование.
Well, I see more of educational
Это никакие не волшебные палочки.
and understanding on the side of consumer that these are not miraculous wands.
которые просто
People should understand that this is just one of the technologies that work.
доводятся, короче,
That's why, speaking about esoterics,
ну, начнем.
we speak about it only because
Автоматизация — это вообще
automation,
бизнесово-продуктовый процесс.
it's a business product operation. And for automation, automation can be done without electricity, it can be done without machine learning, with some engineering skills. Machine learning, it's specific mathematical discipline whose main idea is that we have a certain objective, and out of this objective,
Это оптимизация.
in this objective, there is a certain optimization. This optimization is done on a certain data set, and at the output, they spit away some formula. And this formula should receive so many places in different applications.
Тому, кто будет
So the question is more to the one who's going to formulate this application.
При этом вот это искусственным интеллектом
At
можно
the same
назвать,
time,
наверное, как сказать,
artificial
с
intelligence
серьезностью ушло
name
и
as a name can be
электрический,
applied
который
with similar seriousness as the electric kettle, which disconnects when the water boils in it. This is the same that can be used for machine learning description. Another important step for the development of more of the users and implementation in the Blackwater. First way, it's increasing the number of those who understand how it works. In order to understand more, you can apply it. It's not esoterics, it's not magic, scientific discipline, for realization of which you will also need pretty good engineering programming education. It's not like a pencil and a paper. No, this is something that has to be coded. And if you have to code it, then you have to deliver the product. And as a product, you need good connections to real world. For example, how this product will be analyzed, because machine learning cannot promote itself and cannot analyze itself. That's why the next big version of answers about esoterics is increase of the awareness on the side of people when they work with these technologies and events. Speaking about the research skin management, we can talk with participants of this discussion and we can fantasize a little bit. What's going to be the next big thing? But in order to have this next big thing, you should increase the number of those who will be able to understand why they need this. Yeah, I just remembered when you said that what was happening in the course of last year, diffusion model, DALL-E 2, Midjourney, stable diffusion, and it looks like, game, Photoshop came, PowerPoint, and they've combined their forces together online. But as for the application, Losha has pushed me in the direction of thinking that right now researchers have invented a super cool thing, pure esoterics, for the basic people. But right now they publish articles about application of all these things for regular diffusion models. For the purposes of classification, for the purposes of detection. And this is very cool that this area goes through such possibilities, such cool possibilities, esoterical possibilities, but then they get combined in a product application towards the business, for the business purposes. Yes, I've seen that this stream is 18+. As you can understand, after the generation of the image, generation of the video is already been conducted, and on-demand generation of image and sound 18+ is being developed. It's already been developed and one can watch it? Oh, there are Discord servers with all this stuff. 18+, oh yeah. No advertising. And the final question to each one of you in a Blitz format. On one side, you have described machine learning as a multifunctional thing. On the other side, time from time, we use this word esoterical. And it has a certain borderline between that. So in the future, in the remote perspective, possibly they can cross over. So in order for us not to have some unpredictability in this crossover, we can control machine learning development in the future. For example, we have a thing like a cyber range where we can install something, test something, see how it works in practical life. So in the part of machine learning, what do you think could be tested in a cyber range for the future, more proper development of a certain part of this machine learning? Okay, let's begin with you. The first that comes to my mind is the Internet of Things and machine learning, different voice assistants like Salute, Maros, Alice. This is machine learning for generation of text. And can you make a voice assistant to say something obscene or turn the light on when you didn't ask about it? Then we have some authorization, for example, through the video camera feed. So let's do it in such a way so that by any face, person can enter the computer, or maybe vice versa. Let's try to do something like we are going to break all these masks and costumes when people hide from human detection, from human tracking. What else is available out there? Everything which is related to video, you can also fantasize here. We know that right now machine learning and computer vision is applied to be used in factories to track people so that they will be safe, but somebody does it in order to track their KPIs, and all these should be checked on your knees. That was be
Ну да, здесь
interesting
есть
to me.
большая проблема, когда
Sasha?
новые технологии
Well,
какие-то
there's a big
попадают
problem
в
here when
реальный
big
мир, всё
technologies
становится
are hitting
меньше,
real
и,
world, and
первое,
everybody
что
are afraid of them.
общество думает, что
And the
давайте
first thing
регулируем
that people
законами.
think about, okay,
Думают
let's
там
try
про
to
ответственность,
regulate it
про
by
это
laws.
всё.
Let's think about
И
responsibility
таким
and
способом
all this
получается,
stuff
что,
together. And that's
очень
how it
сложно
happens
сделать какую-то
when
идеальную разработку с самого начала,
it's
потому что
very
понятно, что
difficult to
процессе
do ideal
эксплуатации,
development from the very beginning, because in the
вот
process of
каждый кейс,
exploitation, some
который, ну, нужно
bugs or
смотреть,
corner
да, и
cases
вот
will be
условия с
discovered,
самого
which you have to
начала.
take into consideration. And it's very hard to take those in consideration since the very beginning. So regulation thinks in advance about all those things and puts very strict frameworks and doesn't give you the possibility of using some new technologies and develop them in this world. Well, that's what happens. So basically speaking, we have certain stopper to the development, but the faster things like that are going to feed real world, or like cyber field, cyber range, and cyber range, if it catalyzes these processes with these extremities which have to be taken into consideration
то это будет прям очень
and
здорово,
developed
да,
by
и
the
получается
developers.
вопрос
That would be
про
wonderful.
автомобили, да,
It's
что
the same
только
question about the
автомобили,
driverless cars, and not just cars, but many other things about biometrics. There's a lot of conversations around it, and these technologies have been used long time ago, but to us, it's still not a reality. Except for mobile phones, we don't use it anywhere else. So everywhere where we feel scared, we want to go into things like that, and we want to improve them. So everywhere where you don't have to follow the regulator or where it can be dangerous. Sergey, I have the question to you. What would you test on a cyber field from the machine learning?
Ну, я на самом деле соглашусь с Петей.
Well, honestly speaking, I will agree with Petya. I think that cyber range
Мягкая среда для того, чтобы
is a very good soft environment
где машинное обучение
to
не работает,
test where the machine learning is not working and try to hack it. Why? Okay, let's think that on a cyber range it's not so dangerous, but in life, in daily life, it can be dangerous. But there's a curious fact. We have figured out
любимый примерно сейчас везде.
that our favorite AI is applied everywhere. For example, if you write tech support in your chat, believe me, in most of the cases, you will be assisted by AI. If you go to the key axis, it's also be done by AI. If, for example, somebody tries to call you, some fraudster, this can also be AI.
Это не AI.
It's not AI.
То есть AI медленно, но уверенно проникает во все.
AI slowly but surely penetrates into all spheres of our life.
Ну, это называется
Like adversarial attack. It is called adversarial attack. What else can be given to AI in order for him to say something wrong? It's like you giving him a small kitty, but the AI tells you that this is a dog. And this is something that can be tested. And of course, it's interesting to test it on in dynamic systems, meaning self-moving cars, for example. For example, I'm offering Yandex, right? One self-movement line and try it. Will it be broken or not? So Yandex is getting broken from inside by itself, but it's very interesting to check it. So why not? Why not trying to break something that is controlled by the modeling AIs? There is a lighting system which also is being controlled by machine learning systems based on analysis of traffic.
Опять же,
So why don't we? Because once again,
будет если, вот, наверное, будет неприятно в Москве.
what will happen if
Ну, то есть такой
you will have to stand in a traffic jam for like 12 hours? So back bounty
можно очень
for the security, this is something that
Алексей,
you
к тебе
have to
последний
select.
вопрос такой же.
Alexei,
Если
I
можно,
have the final question to you.
Что
but
одно
be brief,
самое
please.
главное,
So
представь, что у
what
тебя нет
is the
никаких
most
ограничений, ты
important
бы
thing?
протестировал на
Imagine that you have no limitations. What would you
Я
check on a
всё-таки
cyber
буду,
field?
образовательной занудой.
Well,
Смотрите,
let me be an educational nerd.
про adversarial атаки. Это
Speaking
отдельный
about
тип атак,
adversarial
именно
attacking,
на
it's a separate type of attacks
которая
against
отличается
mathematical part,
принципиально от
which is
атак.
different, principally
Если есть
different
какой-то
from
полигон,
service
то
attacks.
в первую очередь
If
на
there is a
нем нужно
polygon,
тестировать
first of
какие-то
all,
mission critical
we
stories.
need to
Ну, то есть
test some
те места
mission
в
critical
реальном
stories.
приложении,
So those
которые
places in
ставят
real
человека
applications
под
which
опасность.
make
Самодвижущаяся
life of a human
да,
being
такие
unbearable, and this
какая-нибудь система,
moving line, maybe some
тестирования
system
аварий на
of
электрических станциях.
detecting
Да,
of
окей.
incidents in power plants. Well,
Stable
that's okay, it makes
diffusion,
sense.
вот, которая on demand
Stable diffusion,
видео генерит.
which
Ну, фиг знает.
on-demand picture
Просто
or
почему
image
я
generates.
это говорю?
Okay, but
Если
why
мы
am I
говорим
telling you all of
чисто
this?
про
If
атаки
we are
на
speaking
системы
purely
сложного
about
обучения,
attacks
то
against
можно
machine
создавать
learning
как любые
systems,
другие
then
обычные
they
системы,
can be
любые
attacked as
другие
any
логические
other
процессы.
regular systems,
Можно
any other
атаковать
similar products,
конкретно,
or you can
целенаправленно
attack
на
them
математическую
specifically,
модель внутри.
target-based
Это вот то,
against their
что
mathematical models
Сережа про
inbuilt
adversarial
inside
атаки,
of them.
говорил.
And this is what
И Никита
Sergey was
тоже
telling us about
говорил.
adversary
Так
attacks,
что здесь
and
вот есть
previous
два
speaker also was speaking about it. So
На одном
there are two chairs. In
отдельная
one
математическая
chair,
история про атаки. На
there's
другом
a
то, что
separate
реально
mathematical
могут быть
story
полезны.
about attacks, and
То
the
есть такие
second one,
приложения, в
maximally
которых,
interesting.
если что-то
So
пойдет
some
не так,
applications,
и вы
which
пытаетесь взвалить ответственность типа,
if something will
это
go
да,
wrong,
статисты,
and
machine
if you
learning
will
инженеры,
move the responsibility, oh, this is machine learning engineers made an
это
error,
искусственный интеллект, типа вот. Вот.
it's artificial
Хорошо,
intellect.
спасибо, друзья. Мы говорили
All
про
right, thank you very much,
машинное
dear
обучение
friends.
с
We've been speaking about machine learning together with Sasha Murzina and Alexei Natekin, Pyotr Yermakov, and Sergey Kolesnikov.